Hey, this is the GameSpot trailer breakdown. I'm Jane Douglas, joined by Cam Robinson. Hey, Cam.
Hey, Jane.
All right, and this is the debut trailer for Dishonored. If you want to watch it without us chattering all over it, then hit up the URL on screen. Otherwise, let's watch.
When you are near, my heart is at peace. Hurry home.
Yes, please kill the Empress. I'll see you beheaded for this, Corvo.
So, yeah, that's Corvo, and this is Dishonored, which you've already seen, right, Cam?
Yeah, myself and Mark had the opportunity to go over to Arcane Studios in Lyon, where it's being developed, and had a chat with a bunch of the developers, and saw a lot of the game. And
So you're bringing all the information to us.
all the knowledge should be in my brain.
But they showed you a lot of environments and gameplay rather than story, and the
Absolutely.
trailer is very, story focused, would you say?
Yeah, I think it starts off being story focused, and then it kind of gives a glimpse of the type of things you'll be doing in the game.
All right, so we've seen Corvo now,
Yeah.
and we also heard what we presume is the voice of the Empress, who he was detailed to look after. He was the royal protector.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And he's failed.
Exactly. That's
Because
that's the
she's dead.
backstory. Yeah, she's been murdered, and fingers firmly pointed at him. And we got hints for the first time that there may be a romance, as you said there. So yeah, that's all very interesting, and that's a little bit of new tidbits there too. What we do know is, as the game goes on, you're like a supernatural assassin, but you don't look very supernatural right now. You're sitting in prison. So the rest of the trailer will now kind of show us, I think, how you go about getting your powers.
Right. He's been set up for an execution.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we did talk about it, but it does seem to be implying that there was a romance of some kind going on. She has a line, the Empress has a line, something about her heart being at peace. And that would make it the perfect revenge story, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Here we see a rat. Also, rats are really important in the game, both in terms of gameplay and as a part of the kind of the larger narrative and setting.
My dear Corvo, what a sad hand fate has dealt you. The beloved Empress dead, and everyone thinks you're the killer. But we know what really happened, don't we? You don't want to end your life to the sound of idiots cheering as your head hits the muck, do you? Let's see if we can do better. And to make things interesting, my mark. Consider it a gift.
Okay, so we
Who's
haven't.
that guy?
I don't know. We have no idea. We haven't heard anything about him before. And this is also how you get your powers. Obviously, how it happens. He used supernatural powers to get in there and pass them to you through that mark in his hand. It's really quite cool. We obviously don't know anything about this guy's motives, why he's helping you out. Hopefully, that'll be in the game and that'll be fleshed out. But that's quite interesting. Okay, now we get a real first look at the city of Dunwall, where the whole game takes place, and it's got a really cool kind of 1940s England inspired setting. We can see like a whole load of really interesting details in here, and one of the main things that is immediately obvious is the bunch of bodies in the foreground.
I did notice the bunch of corpses, yeah.
That's because of the massive plague that's really gripping the whole city and killing loads and loads of people. So inspired from obviously earlier parts of British history as well. What do you think of the appearance of the city, Jane? What do you think about it?
Yeah, well, it's Victor Antonov is working on the game, right? That's the art guy who created City 17 for Half-Life 2, and you can see some of that same utilitarian grimness going on, but here it's more Industrial Revolution, would you say? A bit later than that.
Yeah. There's a lot, like steel train tracks.
Yeah, a lot of pollution.
Yeah.
And right in the background there, you can see, if we skip forward a couple of frames, there's a whale. They're bringing in a whale by ship.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read somewhere that all the power in Dunwall is provided by whale oil. So that's their biofuel of choice, I guess. Also, you can kind of make out the bloody faces on the corpse, just about.
Yeah, that's something we're going to see in a bit more detail in a second. When people get infected, one of the symptoms is they start to bleed from the eyes, which is just lovely. And as a result, they're termed weepers.
Charming. Okay.
Yeah.
And some more rats.
Loads of
And
rats.
Another rat.
Yeah, so rats are awesome in this
Having a
game
nibble.
because one of your powers that you unlock
Hold
along
up.
the game is the ability to possess different creatures. And one of those creatures is rats. You can actually summon rats as well, like summon a swarm of rats to devour bad guys. So they're a big part of the gameplay.
All right, and right now we're looking at the foot of what?
Yeah, well, I don't really know. We haven't heard much about these guys on giant stilts things.
It's a guy on giant robotic stilts.
Yeah,
Some kind of guard.
yeah,
Yeah?
and we haven't heard much about them, but we see that they're obviously an enemy to you, and they're pretty powerful.
And they're being pitched as sort of an iconic foe because
Yeah.
they've, although we don't know much about them, they have appeared a few times in the art and the
Yeah,
screens.
exactly.
All right. There's a retro future car. And some sort of Imperial soldier.
Yep, and here we can see the Weepers mentioned earlier. So you can kind of tell that guy in the foreground with the kind of white sleeves. His eyes very dark around his eyes, so he's bleeding from the eyes. That's how they're identified as infected. And we're about to see the wealthy elite who control Dunwall. These soldiers are obviously on their employment, and we're about to see their strategy for dealing with the infected. And it really kind of sets the tone that I think is going to be throughout this game. It's really kind of dark, really pretty brutal. He has an exploding bow and arrow, which is...
Yeah. And these electric traps, don't you... I think in Mark's preview he wrote something about those kind of traps. You
Yeah.
can set them yourself?
I imagine so, yeah. I seem to remember
Possibly.
him saying that. I love this bit here. You see this guy in the car. That look there, I think,
I'm gonna
says...
say he's a bad guy.
He definitely looks
Not
evil.
a nice man.
Yeah, and he's part of the ultra elite who run Dunwall. And here we see you.
Oh, hold up.
Ah, yes.
Right.
This is something we haven't seen before. You obviously wear a mask, which we didn't know that. We didn't know before. And if we look closely, you can see kind of details in the eyes there, like lenses and things like that, which we think are going to be important in eavesdropping because there's a emphasis on eavesdropping mechanic throughout the game. Which
I'm going to give you super sight or something like that.
yeah, I assume so.
Okay, and also as he flips it over, you can see that mark on the back of his hand where he's getting his
glowing.
magic powers from. Boom.
Now that was really cool. We kind of got the kind of visuals we got as he went into his mask there changed. So you were speculating some interesting things earlier about what that might mean. What do you think that's all
Well,
about?
we don't know what the HUD's going to look like, whether there even is going to be any, because the first-person gameplay that's not really gameplay we've seen so far hasn't had any. And I guess you could say that's for immersion, or maybe just they're not ready to show off the elements of the HUD yet. But you could make a case in the fiction for the HUD being part of the overlay delivered by this mask, by this visor.
Yeah.
And now,
Time for some rooftop running. Now, it's kind of showing off, I think, what the gameplay might be like. The whole idea that they're trying to go for is that Dunwall is a bit of a sandbox in terms of how you approach each mission. So you can go along the streets, or maybe through the sewers, or maybe on the rooftops. And that's what Corvo is doing now. So it really will be up to you how you approach a structure when you're trying to get in and assassinate some dude.
it's not like a completely open city, but
No.
the individual environments have lots of routes in and around, right?
Yeah, similar to Deus Ex, I think, in terms of approach to missions.
Okay. And just down in the right-hand bottom corner here, you see a crow or a raven. And I was saying earlier, Corvo, I'll have you know, is Latin for crow or raven. We haven't seen any possession of birds yet so far, though, have we?
No, but we have seen possession of rats, as I mentioned before, and fish as well. So there's no reason
Possibly
why
birds?
possibly bird possession.
That'd be
I
cool.
hope so.
That would be cool. And it would make sense, given the name.
Yeah. Get a good look at one of the Imperial soldiers here, and you can see he's wearing a breathing mask, so we're guessing that's against the plague.
Yep. And also possibly Corvo's mask could incorporate something like that, which would explain why he's not also getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, first blood.
The plague has increased my profits. As long as the disease stays among the poor, I don't see any reason to become upset.
Here we can see eavesdropping and nice close-up of the lenses, yeah. So he's obviously trying to spy on these guys.
Not very well.
No,
Detected
not very well.
immediately.
No, that was a power there. It's our first glimpse of a proper power from Corvo. That's Wind Blast, which you can use to kind of, as you see, blast open doors, but also blast guards away and probably blast people off ledges and things like that. So it's and the idea is that you get to unlock a number of powers, and you can choose which ones you unlock, I think, as you go. So you're not going to have them all straight away, but you can choose which ones you like, and that looks like a really useful power. The game's really kind of ultra violent. It seems that's the kind of tone they're going for.
And now?
Yes, now another power. So this is slowing down time. So this bit's amazing.
So you can sidestep bullets.
Yeah.
And also whip out this number, which is a sort of crossbow dart launcher, rotating dart launcher.
Yeah, you can see the dart zipping out there towards the first guy.
1, 2, 3 electric bolts.
Yeah, perfectly aimed for the neck, I think, and then just casually sidesteps and go. Down they go.
Killing me won't solve anything.
So yeah, pretty brutal. And then we're going to see one more power here as he escapes. That's Blink, so it's like an instant teleport, short range teleport you can use to both get around and to escape sticky situations, it would seem.
Right. Much like
cool.
Blink in StarCraft,
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, exactly.
The first person.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
Again.
So let's take a
good look at them.
look at these guys. So yeah, they've sort of got these mobile shields extended from their, centers, and I've been calling them. I think I've been calling them tripods, but they're not tripods at all. They just remind me of those tripod robots. They're just still walkers, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
In armor.
In armor and with
More of
exploding
those electric bolts.
exploding bow and arrows. It's cool.
One last look at Corvo there.
Yeah.
Looking good.
And there you have it. So that's the first trailer. It's what? Oh wait, and revenge solves everything.
This is what a tagline.
Yeah, I know. Is that a lesson for life?
Revenge
I don't
solves
know.
everything.
Yeah, any problems, revenge. So I mean, it's been really great. I've been waiting for a first kind of trailer for this game, and I'm really chuffed it wasn't just a teaser. Like we got over 4 minutes of really interesting drama.
Very pretty too.
Yeah,
I
very
mean,
pretty.
Not in game, but
Nope.
very reminiscent of as we understand the gameplay to be, which is great.
Exactly.
All right, and there's #Dishonored if you want to get tweeting about it.
And if you want to see more stuff on Dishonored, we've got some video and written previews on the site, so head to the links on screen now. And yeah, be sure to let us know what you think. And we are obviously really excited about Dishonored, so come back to GameSpot in the future and we'll cover everything we possibly can about this game. Looks great.